Good afternoon. Hello, everyone. So, okay, in this video, I'm going to discuss to you our module 3, which is the taxation or the public revenue. Why is it a public revenue? Because as we all know, or as you all know, taxation is the number one source of government revenue. Okay, class. So imagine, no, what if walang tax? Ano kaya ang mangyayari? Hmm. Of course, if walang taxes, walang kalsada, walang public hospitals, walang public schools, walang traffic lights, walang mga pulis, walang sundalo, 'di ba? Walang ayuda, walang disaster funds. So in short, kapag walang tax, walang pondo ang isang country and magiging chaotic siya. It will be unsafe and unfair. So, sabi nga ni Oliver Wendell Holmes, taxes are what we pay for a civilized society. So, taxation is not just about paying money, it's how the government runs and how the society functions. So here in the Philippines, every one of us is affected by taxes. Kapag bumili ka ng kahit ano, kahit candy pa yan, kahit magpagas ka, magpa-load, everything is may tax component yan lahat. Okay. So ano nga ba yung taxation? What is taxation? So taxation is the process by which the government imposes charges on citizens and corporate entities to generate revenue for public purposes. The collected taxes fund essential services such as infrastructure, education, healthcare, defense, and social welfare. So in simple terms, ang taxation ay ang ating ambag, ang ambag ng citizens para gumana ang isang bansa, and it is authorized by law under the NIRC or the the National Internal Revenue Code, and it is considered as an inherent power of the state or the power inherent in sovereignty. Okay, so again, pag walang taxes, walang pondo, at pag walang pondo, hindi natin may enjoy kung ano man yung mga free na nai-enjoy natin ngayon, like the roads, the bridges, the street lights, okay? The public schools, the free healthcare. Okay? So taxation is a fundamental power of the state, and it possesses several key characteristics that define its nature and purpose. Of course, it is a compulsory contribution, meaning hindi siya optional, compulsory siya. Hindi mo pwedeng sabihin na pass ka muna kasi wala kang pambayad because yung tax, we are obligated to pay taxes, and it is imposed by law and levied by the government in the exercise of its sovereign authority. It is imposed by law because you pay taxes because there is a legal basis, not because the government simply wants to collect. Hindi pwedeng maningil ang inyong barangay captain kasi or kung wala siyang ordinance. Okay, so again, there is always a legal basis for paying taxes. Taxes are intended for public purposes. Of course, taxes must benefit the society, not the specific individuals. This supports the principle of maximum social advantage, di ba? Wherein the public funds must benefit the society as a whole and not just one group. So, according here, the taxes is intended or are intended for public purposes and serve to finance the needs of society as a whole. Hindi pwede na ang taxes natin is nagbabayad tayo ng taxes para yumaman ang gobyerno. Ang taxes na binabayaran natin ay para sa services ng bayan or para sa isang bayan ng Pilipino, hindi para yumaman lang yung mga nanunungkulan or nakaupo sa pwesto. Okay? And they are not imposed as a penalty, fine, or donation, but rather as an enforced obligation for the common good. Again, it is, or we pay taxes with or according to legal basis, and it is paid para nga sa public purposes. Furthermore, taxation is generally paid in money, reflecting the practical and standardized means of contributing to government revenues. Pera po ang binabayad natin ng taxes. Okay? Hindi ka pwedeng magbayad ng tax gamit ang prutas, or bayad ka tax gamit dumanok. No, it does not work that way. Hindi to gaya sa ibang tindahan na kapag nagbayad ka, susuklian ka ng candy. It does not work that way because taxes, it is paid in money. Okay, let's now move on to the Adam Smith's canon of taxations, or the principle of taxation. So this is like the golden rules or the best practices or the classic principles that guide a fair and effective tax system. So Adam Smith, the renowned 18th century Scottish economist and moral philosopher, made one of the most enduring contributions in his influential work, The Wealth of Nations, in 1776, he outlined what came to be known as the four canons of taxation, which is the equity, the certainty, the convenience, and the economy. So ano ang principle of equity? Sinabi nating equity, it's fairness. So those who earn more should pay more. So this supports the principle of ability to pay, and it is the basis of the progressive taxations. Okay, Smith's principle of equity suggests a proportional tax system. So those who earn more should pay more, not just in absolute terms, but potentially in relative terms. So this was a precursor to the concept of progressive taxation. So taxation should reflect a taxpayer's ability to pay without creating undue hardship.
Ma'am, sa ulit ko lang po.
Yes. Diyan na lang ga.
Thank you po, ma'am.
Sure. Sorry for the interruption. So, balik tayo again nga sa principle of equity. It suggests na kung sino yung may malaking kita, dapat mas malaki din ang tax na binabayaran niya, and this is the basis for the progressive tax system. Next is the principle of certainty. Taxes should be transparent and not left to the whims of officials. A predictable and transparent tax system enables individuals and businesses to plan effectively and fosters trust in government. So taxes must be clear, it must be predictable, and it must be consistent. So people should know how much, when, and where to pay. So again, dapat clear ang tax rules at kung magkano at kailan ka babayad. Next, the principle of convenience. Tax collection should consider the circumstances of taxpayers. For example, collecting income tax via payroll withholding ensures that payment coincides with earnings. So under the principles of convenience, it suggests that the taxes should be collected at a time and manner that is easy for taxpayers. Kaya nga That's why may tinatawag tayong withholding tax kung saan directed siya na dinideduct from the salary. Okay? Or automatic siya at hindi na, we don't need to fall in line sa BIR monthly. Lastly, we have the principle of economy. Same siya sa principle of economy ng public revenue. So Smith was concerned not only with the tax burden itself, but with the administrative costs, economic drag, and opportunity for corruption and tax collection. So efficient systems maximize public revenue while minimizing compliance and enforcement costs. So under the principle of economy, the cost of collecting taxes should be minimal. So the system should prevent waste, inefficiency, and corruption. Okay, it is to avoid wasteful spending. Hindi pwede na mas mahal pa yung cost ng pag-collect ng tax kaysa sa tax itself. Hindi rin dapat na mag-encourage ng complications or ng corruption. Okay, now let's move on to the classification and types of taxes. So the Philippine tax system, primarily administered by the Bureau of Internal Revenue or BIR, classifies taxes according to several criteria, including purpose, scope, and incidence. So the main types of taxes fall under the categories of national and local taxes. The table below shows here, so you can see the table shows the classification and types of taxes in the Philippines. According to purpose, we have fiscal tax and regulatory tax. So what is fiscal tax? So the main goal or the main purpose of fiscal tax, of course, is to raise revenue. And example of this are the income tax or the VAT, which is the value added tax. And the regulatory tax is, this is used, or the objective of the regulatory tax is to regulate behavior, to influence certain behaviors. That's why it's called regulatory. It is to regulate the behavior. Under CARA is yung mga sin taxes, the excise tax, okay, the environmental taxes and such. Okay, according to incidence or by burden, we have the direct tax and the indirect tax. What is direct tax? In simple terms, direct tax, this is paid directly by the person upon whom it is imposed. Ikaw mismo ang magbabayad or ang nagbabayad at hindi mo siya pwedeng ipasa sa iba. Again, example of this are the income tax and the real property tax. And indirect tax, we have indirect tax. This is the tax that can be passed on to the customers or pwede mo siya ipasa sa buyer. Okay? We have here some examples with direct tax, the VAT, the value added tax or the excise taxes on fuel, tobacco, and alcoholic products. Okay, according to purpose, we have the national tax and the local tax. Okay? Pag hinabang ang national tax, these are the taxes imposed by the national government through agencies like the Bureau of Internal Revenue and the Bureau of Customs. It includes income tax, value-added tax, excise tax, documentary stamp tax, transfer taxes, and withholding tax. So, what is income tax? Of course, ito yung tax na binabawas or nakukuha or gina-impose sa imong nga sweldo or imong income, imong salary. Could be imposed both on the individuals and corporations. The value-added tax, this is an indirect tax on the sales of goods and services in the Philippines. So as of now, the current VAT rate is 12%. We have the excise tax. It is an indirect tax imposed on specific goods such as alcohol, tobacco products, fuel, and automobiles. It can be a specific tax or based on volume or an ad valorem tax or based on value. May tinatawag din tayo na sin taxes. Sin taxes is also under the excise tax. Ano ang excise tax? Ano pinakaiba ng dalawa? Ang excise tax, this is a regulatory tax na ini-impose siya generally sa specific products. Again, like the alcohol, the tobacco, the fuel, the automobiles, the luxury products. But the sun taxes, it is imposed doon lang sa mga products na harmful sa tao like alcohol. Bakit may sin taxes ang alcohol? Of course, to discourage the people to buy alcohol. Bakit may sin taxes sa cigarettes? Of course, again, para ma-discourage ang people na mag-buy ng cigarettes. Meron din tayong syntaxes sa sugary drinks. It is to promote healthy living or wellness and to avoid obesity. We also have the documentary stamp tax. This is a tax on documents such as the contracts, deeds, and other legal documents. So the tax rate varies depending on the nature of the document. Kapag nag-agto ka sa BIR, may ginabayaran ka karon nga documentary stamp tax. The transfer taxes, it includes a state tax or a tax on the transfer of property upon death, and the donor's tax or a tax on the transfer of property gift during a person's lifetime. Again, estate tax, ito lang yung tax kapag namatay na, again, patay na, tapos ito transfer yung property sa iba. While kapag buhay pa siya, and ito transfer niya yung property sa iba, magiging donor's tax yon. Okay, understood. We also have the withholding tax under the national tax. This is a corporate tax imposed on taxpayers engaged in any trade or business in the Philippines. So this tax is withheld from the salary of every employee by the employer, which will serve as an advance payment for income taxes during a business year. So again, yung under sa principle of convenience. Kaya tayo may withholding tax to to ensure that taxes will be collected at a time and manner that it is easy for taxpayers. Automatic siya na nababawas sa ating sahod. Let's move on to the goals of taxation. So taxes are considered as the lifeblood of the state, serving as the primary source of funds through which the government and its agencies operate. So primarily, the following are the purpose of taxation. First, of course, ang pinaka-basic, we have the revenue generation. So the primary purpose is to fund essential government services such as schools, hospitals, infrastructure, defense, social welfare programs, and of course, the government needs money to function. Okay? So, again, the most basic goal of taxation is the revenue generation. Next, we have the regulation of economic activities. So, the government, they uses taxes to regulate or to discourage harmful behavior. Example nga, again, the sin tax on cigarette para mabawasan yung smoking. The excise tax on sugary drinks para mabawasan yung obesity. And we also have the environmental tax para i-reduce yung pollution, of course. And lastly, the redistribution of wealth. Paulit-ulit ko na sinasabi sa inyo, this is one of the two central reasons for the government intervention, which is the redistribution of wealth. Ito yung concept ng fairness. So those who earns more will pay more, and those who earns less will pay less, and it again lessens the gap between the rich and the poor. And again and again, the redistribution of wealth is fair. Okay? Fair siya. Okay, so bye-bye. Let's move on to tax shifting and incidents. So, what is tax incidents? Tax incidents, this answers the questions: who really pays the tax? Okay? Tax incidents refers to who ultimately bears the burden of a tax, whether it is the consumer, the producer, or shared between both. And it answers the question: who really pays the tax in the end? Okay, so even if the law states that a business must pay the tax, the burden may shift to others due to market forces. Diba? Common questions talaga ay sino nga ba ang nagbabayad ng tax? So legally, pwedeng business ang nagbabayad, pero economically, consumers ang natatamaan. The tax shifting, this happens when the person or entity legally responsible for paying a tax transfer the burden to someone else. This usually occurs through price adjustments. Again, tax shifting kapag may indirect tax na nangyayari. Kapag yung ako dapat ang magbabayad ng tax pero pinasa ko siya sa'yo, and kailan siya nangyayari? Okay, may tinatawag tayong, or there are two types of tax shifting. We have the forward and the backward shifting. The forward shifting, the tax is passed to consumers by increasing the price. So from producers or from a business papunta sa consumer, that's forward shifting. So the businesses pass the tax to customers by increasing the prices of their product. Example nga yung sa yung excise tax on fuel. 'Di ba? Pag nagmahal ang gasolina, magmamahal din ang pamasahe. So parang yung burden is napasa sa consumers. Okay. Second is we have the backward shifting. So the tax burden moves to suppliers or workers by lowering wages or reducing supplier payment. So sa backward shifting, ito yung nangyayari kapag yung tax from business is napapasa either doon sa workers or sa suppliers. 'Di ba? Mana backward shifting, okay, it happens when a business transfers the burden of a tax backward, meaning hindi sa customers ipapasa kundi sa suppliers or sa workers. So in other words, the business tries to to recover the tax by lowering the payments it gives to the people behind the production process. Okay? Naintindihan ba yung dalawa? Again, think of the direction. Pag forward shifting, pinapasa ng business papunta sa consumer. The backward shifting, pinapasa ng business papunta sa workers or sa supplier. So let's say, for example, tumaas ang presyo ng harina or ng gasolina. So ikaw pag may business ka na bakery, of course you will be affected by the increase in taxes ng flour, ng ng harina and the gasolina. So you have two choices, or the bakery will have two choices. Of course, the first choice is the forward shifting. Kunyari, ang ibinibenta mong isang pandesal ay nagkakahalaga ng 2 peso or ng 2 pesos. So, forward shifting yun kapag tinaasan mo yung presyo ng isang pandesal from 2 pesos to 3 or 4 pesos para lang makover yung tax na nadagdag sa harina and sa gasolina, or yes. Pero kung isipin mo na ay baka pag tinaasan ko yung presyo ng aking paninda ay mawawalan ako ng customers kasi wala nang bibili kasi mataas na. So meron kang second option, which is the backward shifting. Backward shifting, ito dito na yung you will recover the tax by lowering the salary of your workers, or by cutting the supplier expenses, or by buying cheaper ingredients. So who absorbs the burden? It's not the consumers but the workers and the suppliers. Okay? Understood? I hope naintindihan ninyo. So let's move on to the tax principle and reform. So tax policies determine how taxes are designed, collected, and utilized. In the Philippines, tax reform has been a major agenda to make the system fairer and more efficient. The notable tax reforms in the Philippines are, of course, I don't know if you're familiar with the Train Law and the Create Law. So the Train Law, or the tax reform for acceleration and inclusion, formerly known as the Republic Act number 10963 of 2017, is part of the Philippine government's comprehensive tax reform program, or CTRP. The law aims to make the tax system simpler, fairer, and more efficient while generating revenues for the government to fund its ambitious infrastructure projects and social services. And one of the most significant changes under the Train Law is the adjustment of income tax rates for individuals. The law introduced a more progressive tax system, reducing the tax burden on low and middle income earners while increasing the tax rates for higher earners. So, under sa Train Law, actually, it lowered personal income tax for low and middle income, and kaso may higher excise taxes lang. So, like the fuel, sa tobacco, sugar drinks, etc. And actually, the main purpose of the Train Law is to fund the Build program and the social programs. Next, the Create Law, or the Corporate Recovery and Tax Incentives for Enterprises, or the Corporate Recovery and Tax Incentives for Enterprises, or Create Law, aims to make the Philippines more competitive in ASEAN by lowering the corporate income taxes to 25% and 20% for small, medium, and micro enterprises. It is also being a fiscal relief and recovery measure for Filipino businesses still suffering from the COVID-19 pandemic. It also aims to plug tax leakages by rationalizing the fiscal incentives granted to investors and shifts the administration of such investment towards a performance-based, targeted, and time-bound system. So former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte signed the Create Act as Republic Act number 11534 with certain line items vetoed last March 26, 2021. So, The Create Law, ang main goal or ang main purpose ng Create Law is to lower the corporate income tax to help businesses recover post-pandemic, after nung pandemic, and to better, of course, the system for tax incentives. And last topic for this module is the equity efficiency trade-off. This is the most interesting concept, or for me, this is the most interesting concept in this module, and also the hardest. Okay, so the equity efficiency trade-off is one of the most important ideas in taxation because it explains why creating a perfect tax system is so difficult. On the other hand, a government wants a tax system that is equitable, meaning fair, based on a person's ability to pay. This usually leads to progressive taxes where people with higher income contribute a larger share. Such systems help reduce inequality and support fairness among citizens. On the other hand, the government also needs a tax system that is efficient or economically, meaning it raises revenue without negatively affecting economic behavior. So taxes that are too high may discourage people from working harder, saving money, investing in businesses, or engaging in productive activities. Efficient taxes are usually broad-based, easy to administer, and have low rates such as the VAT again. I'm so sorry. So sa equity or fairness, ito yung tax system na parang, of course, nagpapababa or it reduces inequality. While the efficiency, this is a tax system where it promotes na, or its goal is not to discourage the the workers or the people to invest or to start a business. So bakit siya problem here sa tax system natin? Because you cannot maximize both at the same time. Hindi sila pwedeng ma-maximize ng sabay. Kasi kung gagawin mong super fair ang ating tax system, magiging inefficient. Baka magiging inefficient siya. Tsaka kung gagawin mo namang super efficient ang ating tax system, baka magiging unfair din siya. Okay? So, this shows the trade-off na increasing fairness may reduce inefficiency and increasing efficiency may reduce fairness. Okay? So, this is why designing a tax system is always a balancing act. So I guess that concludes our module 3, and I hope you've learned something. So again, to understand public finance, you must understand talaga the taxation, because it's not just about taxation, it's not just about collecting money. It's about the fairness, the efficiency, and shaping, of course, the economy. And every tax policy has winners and losers, and every reform involves difficult decisions. And I always remember, class, that the country cannot survive without taxes, but a tax system also can't be too heavy or too unfair. And the challenge is always to find balance. So, yes, that's all for today. Sana may natutunan kayo. And okay, we will have our quiz sa face-to-face meeting natin. I will also upload the module 4 in or next week para sasabayin ko na ng class yung ating quiz siguro ng module 3, 4, and 5. Bali, next week na lang siya lahat if ma-upload ko lahat ng remaining modules natin. Okay? Okay, so that's all and have a good day, everyone.